Have you ever wondered what truly happens to the soul's energy when its physical journey on Earth is over? As the practice of cremation becomes more common, many of us hold a quiet, deep-seated question. Does this rapid transformation by fire have any effect on the soul's transition back to the spirit world? For decades, the pioneering hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon explored these very questions, not through ancient texts or religious doctrine, but by speaking directly to subconscious minds and higher selves of thousands of individuals. What she uncovered offers a profound and comforting perspective that steps beyond dogma and into the realm of energy, consciousness, and the soul's eternal nature. This is not a message of fear or judgment, but an exploration of the soul's journey from a viewpoint that sees the body not as something to be saved for a future resurrection, but as a precious, temporary vehicle that has served its incredible purpose. What if the choices we make for this physical vessel have energetic implications for the soul's gentle and graceful departure? Dolores Cannon's work invites us to look at this sensitive topic through a new lens. Central to her findings is the understanding that our bodies are magnificent, biological suits that our souls design and choose for specific lessons we need to learn on this planet. The body is not the soul, but it is the soul's instrument, its partner in the grand adventure of life. Therefore, how we treat this vehicle after its purpose is complete is an act of honor and respect for the journey itself. It is a final act of love for the experiences, the joys, the sorrows, and the growth that the body made possible. Do you wish to attract positivity and good vibrations into your life? Comment below to affirm your desire for good things and to join our collective intention for a brighter path. And please tap like if you're ready to welcome these positive energies. Through this lens, the question of cremation versus burial transforms. It is no longer about which method is right or wrong in the eyes of a higher power, but about understanding the different energetic processes involved. Is one a slow, gradual return to the earth, and the other a rapid, fiery release of stored energy? And does this difference impact the soul's ability to detach peacefully? Be sure to stay with us, because as our story unfolds, we'll uncover a perspective on this process that might truly surprise you. But what does the soul itself actually experience at the moment of transition? Is it aware of what is happening to its former vehicle? The answers, drawn from countless journeys into the subconscious mind, reveal a startling truth about the soul's detachment and its first moments of freedom. A central and deeply comforting truth emerged from Dolores Cannon's decades of research. In the overwhelming majority of cases, the soul is not a witness to what happens to its body after death. The consciousness, the true self, has already departed. At the moment of death, the soul vacates its physical vehicle and is connected to it by only a shimmering, energetic cord, often called a silver cord. When this cord is severed, the final separation is complete, and the body is left as a beautiful but empty shell. The soul's focus immediately shifts. It is not looking back at the world of form, but is being joyfully welcomed on the spirit side by guides and loved ones who have passed before. It begins a process of reacclimation to a realm of pure energy, preparing for its life review, where it will lovingly examine the lessons from the life just lived. It simply has no attachment to or sensory awareness of the disposition of its former vehicle. This is the beautiful truth for most souls. However, Cannon's work did identify a potential spiritual consideration, not a risk of damnation, but of temporary confusion. In rare cases, a soul can remain earthbound for a time due to profound and unresolved attachment to its physical life, a sudden traumatic death that leaves it disoriented, or a deep-seated fear of judgment. For a soul in this confused state, still wrongly identified with its physical form, witnessing the rapid and final transformation of cremation could be an energetic shock. The issue isn't pain, as the soul is separate, but the abrupt confirmation that the form it clings to is irrevocably gone, which can deepen its confusion. This is where our role as the living becomes so important. Our true responsibility is not about selecting a correct method of disposition, but about helping the soul detach peacefully and lovingly, regardless of the method. Our thoughts of love, our spoken words telling them they are free, and that it is safe to go to the light, and releasing our own heavy grief are what provide the energetic assistance for a soul to move on. Understanding that the soul's peaceful transition is the primary goal reframes our perspective entirely. It leads us to ask not which method is better, But what is the underlying spiritual and energetic purpose behind these ancient traditions of returning our physical forms to the universe through fire or earth? The answer reveals two very different, yet equally beautiful, philosophies about releasing our earthly vessel. When we view the end of life through the lens of energy and consciousness, the choice between burial and cremation becomes less about religious rule and more about two distinct and beautiful philosophies of release. Dolores Cannon's work suggests that neither path is inherently superior to the other. They are simply different energetic ceremonies for honoring the soul's departed vehicle. Burial represents a philosophy of a gentle, gradual return. It is a process that mirrors the cycles of nature, where all life slowly and peacefully decomposes to nourish new life. From a metaphysical perspective, this can be seen as a very nurturing process. The physical body, which holds a residual energetic blueprint of the soul, is allowed to release this energy slowly back into the earth. For a soul that might be a little disoriented or still holds a slight attachment to its form, this gentle, unhurried process can be seen as a final, comforting lullaby, giving the consciousness ample time to fully recognize its freedom without any jarring, sudden changes to its former vessel. It is an act that honors the body as a cherished part of the earth, lovingly returning it to the source from which its elements came. Cremation, on the other hand, embodies a philosophy of rapid and powerful transformation. It utilizes a purifying element of fire to instantly release the physical form from its structure, returning its core elements to the universe in a single, brilliant burst of energy. This can be seen as a profound celebration of the soul's liberation. It is a decisive and immediate severing of the final energetic ties to the physical plane, declaring that the soul is completely free and its vehicle has served its purpose. For a soul that is aware and ready to soar, this can be a powerful and affirmative final act, mirroring its own swift journey back to the spirit realm. Ultimately, the work of Dolores Cannon empowers us to understand that the spiritual quality of either choice is determined almost entirely by the intention of the living. If the choice is made with love, honor, and a deep respect for the soul's journey, then the ritual itself becomes a beautiful and sacred act. If the intention of the living is what imbues the process with its spiritual power, what then is our energetic responsibility for the physical remains, especially the ashes left behind by fire? Does scattering them create a different energetic effect than keeping them in one place? The answer from the spirit side offers profound guidance on how to create a final act of closure and love. When we consider our energetic responsibility for the ashes of a loved one, the guidance from Dolores Cannon's work is rooted in one profound principle. The highest choice is always the one that fosters loving release and peace, both for the soul who has departed and for those who remain. There are no rigid rules, only loving considerations. Scattering the ashes can be a profoundly beautiful and symbolic ritual. It represents the ultimate act of letting go, of returning the last physical elements of the beloved vehicle to the universe, to the wind, the sea, or the earth. It is a declaration of the soul's absolute freedom from form. For many, this act provides a powerful sense of closure, a final, expansive farewell. The energy of the person is no longer contained in one place, but is perceived everywhere, in every sunset and every breeze. This can be an incredibly healing perspective. Keeping the ashes in an urn, whether in a memorial place or a sacred corner of the home, serves a different but equally valid spiritual purpose. It creates a physical focal point for remembrance and love. It gives the grieving heart a tangible place to direct thoughts, to speak with the loved one, and to feel a continued presence. This can be an immense comfort, a steady anchor of memory in the stormy seas of grief, helping the living to process their loss in their own time. From a purely energetic standpoint, the only caution that emerged from Cannon's work was not about the ashes themselves, but about the emotional energy the living project onto them. If an urn is treated as a tether, a focus of intense, unrelenting grief that energetically says, "Do not leave me, stay here," it can inadvertently create an anchor that makes it more difficult for a sensitive or slightly confused soul to feel fully free. The goal is to let the urn be a touchstone for loving memories, not a chain of sorrow. This understanding gives us the power to make a conscious, loving choice that brings peace. To continue inviting enlightenment and the flow of good things into your journey, comment "Hope" below as a personal affirmation for continued illumination and positive happenings. The ultimate loving act is to send our departed loved ones the energy of freedom, encouraging them on their new journey, assuring them that our love for them is eternal and not dependent on their physical presence. But what if we look back on a past decision with regret? What if, in a moment of overwhelming grief, we made a choice about a loved one's remains that we now question? Is there a way to send healing and peace to that situation, long after the physical transition is complete? The answer from the spirit side is a resounding yes, and it lies in the incredible power of our own focused consciousness. The answer to whether we can heal a past choice made in grief is not just yes, but profound and resounding yes. The insights from Dolores Cannon's work reveal a fundamental truth of the universe. On the spirit side, where the soul resides, our linear concept of time does not exist. All time is now. This means that the loving, healing energy you generate today can be sent back to a moment in the past, surrounding it and transforming its energetic signature from one of regret to one of peace. Your focused consciousness, imbued with pure intention, is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It is a tangible energy that can be directed across any distance, including the veil between worlds. If you carry the weight of a past decision, you can perform a simple, beautiful ritual to release it. Find a quiet, peaceful space. You might light a candle to symbolize the light of your intention. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and call the image of your loved one to your mind's eye. See them happy, whole, and surrounded by light. Then, speak to them from your heart, either silently or aloud. You can say something like, "I release any and all regret I have held concerning your transition. I acted from a place of love and confusion, and I now forgive myself completely. I send you nothing but pure love. You are free, you are at peace, and I am at peace. All is well." Feel the truth of these words. Visualize the energy of your love surrounding them and the past event. This act of conscious, retroactive healing is incredibly powerful. It is also vital to understand that guilt is a low-frequency energy that serves no one. In fact, holding on to guilt can create the very energetic tether we wish to avoid, keeping our own vibration low and clouding the loving connection we share with our departed. Releasing your own guilt is a profound gift of love, not only to yourself but to the soul of your loved one, as it clears the channel between you for nothing but pure, high-frequency love to flow. By understanding that we can send love and healing across time, we begin to grasp the true nature of our eternal consciousness. This realization does more than just soothe old wounds. It offers us the ultimate gift, the opportunity to completely transform our relationship with death itself. What if death was never meant to be feared? What if it is, in fact, the most beautiful homecoming imaginable? To understand death as a homecoming is to receive the most liberating truth available to us. Dolores Cannon dedicated her life to stripping away the layers of fear and dogma that humanity has wrapped around this natural transition, revealing it to be not an end, but a joyful return. Based on the testimony of thousands of souls who recounted the experience under hypnosis, death is not something to be feared. The soul, our true, eternal consciousness, often departs the physical body just before the final moment, feeling no pain, only a sudden sense of lightness and profound freedom. Many describe it as taking off a heavy, cumbersome coat after a long day's work. You are not the coat. You are the vibrant being who wore it. Instantly, the soul is met with overwhelming and unconditional love. It is often greeted by spirit guides and cherished family members and friends who have passed on before, all of whom are there to celebrate its return home. The experience is not one of darkness or uncertainty, but being enveloped in a brilliant, loving light and a sense of peace that is beyond any earthly description. One of the most significant fears this work dissolves is the fear of judgment. There is no angry, punishing figure waiting to tally our mistakes. Instead, there's a loving life review, a process we undertake with our wise and compassionate guides. It is a chance to look back on a life just lived, not to judge the sins, but to lovingly understand the lessons, to see how our choices affected others, and to appreciate the growth we achieved. It is an educational and healing process, undertaken with total love. When we truly absorb this understanding, the fear of death loses its grip. This is the ultimate gift, as it frees us to live our current lives more fully, more bravely, and more lovingly. If this journey of reflection and discovery speaks to your heart, supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel allows us to continue sharing these inspiring explorations together. We can take chances, express our hearts, and focus on our true purpose of learning and experiencing without the paralyzing fear of a final, terrible end. Knowing that death is a peaceful return home is the ultimate key to living a life without fear. It changes everything. So, how do we walk in the world with this profound knowledge? How does it transform our daily choices, our relationships, and our very sense of purpose on this earth? The final answer is a simple, yet powerful, invitation to live as the eternal souls we truly are. To walk in the world with a profound knowledge that you are an immortal soul on a temporary journey is to fundamentally change your life from the inside out. It is a quiet revolution of the heart. The first and most powerful shift is the release of fear. So many of our earthly anxieties are rooted in the fear of endings, the fear of failure, the fear of loss, and the ultimate fear of death. But when you understand that your existence is eternal and that death is merely a peaceful transition home, that foundational fear dissolves. In its place grows a courageous freedom to live more authentically, to speak your truth, and to love more deeply, knowing that the essence of who you are can never be destroyed. This knowledge empowers you to embrace your role as the conscious creator of your reality. You begin to understand that your thoughts, words, and intentions are not random, but are the very tools you use to shape your experience. Your priority shifts from accumulating material things to accumulating wisdom, compassion, and beautiful experiences. Life is no longer seen as a race to be won, but as a school to be attended, where every challenge is a lesson your soul chose for its own growth, and every person you meet is a fellow student and teacher. Your relationships are transformed. The grief that comes with the physical loss of a loved one is still real, but it is no longer tinged with the terror of permanent separation. It is softened by the deep, peaceful certainty that you will meet again. You learn to love those in your life as the eternal souls they are, cherishing the precious time you have together in this particular play, knowing that your connection is not bound by a single lifetime. And so, an exploration that began with a simple question about cremation has led us to the most profound truth of all. You are an ancient, powerful, and eternal being of light. Your life on earth is a precious, fleeting, and magnificent gift. Live it fully, love it bravely, and learn all the lessons it has to offer. As we reflect on our shared journey and the profound interconnectedness of all things, comment, "We are connected," below to affirm this universal truth with our community. And your exploration doesn't have to end here. Click the video now appearing on your screen for another powerful message.